back to my channel. This is Deja's Point of View, and I'm Deja. In this video, I wanted to go over greed, lust, and envy as seen in some of P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whoever you want to refer to him as, his high profile relationships. I have a brief timeline that I wanted to review with you guys, and then I will get into my opinion. So, here we go. Let's talk about it. Okay, and just like that, we are back with another video. Hi guys, welcome back, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. As mentioned in my intro, I will be going through a brief timeline of notable, or what I believe as notable relationships that Diddy had, and just how they are connected to this trial and just connected to the topic at hand, which I thought would be good to discuss, which was envy, greed, and lust. And as I go through, I'm sorry, from last time, I'm going through, I have my notes on the side, so I'm going to look over here, but I'm looking back at y'all. No worry. All right, so as I go through this timeline, I just want you guys to look at some patterns. And for historical context, I'm going to start with one of Diddy's foremost public relationships, and that would be with Misa Hinton or Hinton, something. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, no disrespect, but she's like one of the most notable girlfriends that Diddy had. When she met Diddy, he was 22 and she was 17. She was an aspiring fashion stylist. She's very notable in the hip hop community for setting trends, fashion trends in the 90s with artists like Mary J. Blige. So they began dating around 1990, and their relationship only lasted for 3 years. It ended shortly after their son Justin. We're gonna put that in quotation marks because Justin looks nothing like Diddy, nor does he look like his brother Christian or his twin sisters. I can't remember their names right now, but the twins and Christian look just like Diddy, and Justin and Quincy do not. We know Quincy is not Diddy's son, but supposedly, and this is all speculation, I don't know if it's true or not, supposedly they did a DNA test on Justin Combs and he is in fact Diddy's son, but I do not believe that at all. So they broke up in 1993 after Justin was born, and there were reports from Misa herself that Diddy was abusive. One report was relayed by a security guard that used to work for Diddy. I'm not sure if it was Gene Dill or another. It may have been Gene Dill. I think it was Gene Dill. And he was noted on another YouTuber's platform, Art of Dialogue, that Diddy had beat Misa so bad one day that she had to hide under a car in order to get away from him. So, like I said, just to recap, their relationship ended in 1993. In 1994, Diddy began dating Kim Porter. Okay, Kim Porter was 23 at the time, and Diddy was 25. I don't know if I mentioned it, but when Diddy was dating Misa, he was 22, she was 17. So with Kim, he's 25, she's 23. Not too bad of a age gap, but we'll go on about that. At the time, Kim was a very acclaimed model and an aspiring actress. And like I said, she met Diddy when he was 25, and he was well on into creating his record label Bad Boy and managing some artists, notably Notorious B.I.G., rest in peace. Okay, and their relationship lasted from 1994 to 2007. Like I said previously, she bore him 3 children. We have Christian Combs, which is basically Diddy Jr. in more ways than one. Some people are starting to realize. And the twin girls, it's just beautiful. They look just like their mother. They're beautiful girls. And like I said, I don't remember their names. Just going to refer to them as the twin girls or Diddy's twins. Okay. Like I said, they were together. Their relationship was tumultuous. There are also reports that Diddy broke Kim Porter's nose during an argument. He got jealous about her dating another man later on in their relationship and reportedly broke her nose. Before she died, it was reported that he was stalking her and surveilling her home. just had little things, and this is all speculation, all alleged. He allegedly bugged her home so that he could hear any conversations that she had. And that was shortly before she died. So during their relationship, it was tumultuous. It was reportedly tumultuous. They briefly broke up, and this is important. They briefly broke up in 1999 and then got back together in 2003. And this is notable for the next woman that I'm going to mention. Singer, actress, personality, Jennifer Lopez, also known as J-Lo. And when she was linked to Diddy, that's what she was going by, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. Around that time, that was 1999, J-Lo was a very critically acclaimed actress at the time. She had just gotten off the success of Selena, which really catapulted her name in the media, and she was working on music, and that's how her and Diddy really connected, working on her first album, which I'm gonna say, in my opinion, is her best album on the six. Mwah, 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 mwah. Beautiful hits, nothing but the hits, nothing but the hits. Love that album. And reportedly, it is reported that during this time of Diddy and J-Lo's relationship, that was from 1999 to 2001, that he kept Kim around. Kim probably was part of the staff at this point for Diddy. And he basically flaunted this relationship with J-Lo in Kim's face. We don't know why Kim stayed around for this. We can kind of speculate from the testimony of witnesses like Jane Doe, Cassie, Mia, and Capricorn Clark that, you know, sometimes you wanted to be caught up in that and you missed that, especially Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark reportedly testified that she missed her job. So we can't judge Kim for why she stuck around during that time that Diddy was with J-Lo. It is just reported that she was around and she was well aware of their relationship, and that is why Kim and Diddy's relationship had briefly ended in 1999. Okay, J-Lo, back to J-Lo. So J-Lo, there's not a lot of reports about how J-Lo and Diddy's relationship was. She has been quoted throughout the years since their breakup of him being tough, whatever that means, on her, and just alluding that the relationship was not what she initially expected, okay, which is fair. And J-Lo is famously linked to a shooting at a nightclub with rapper Shine and Diddy, Shine being Diddy's protege at the time and new artist that was quickly gaining popularity. But sadly, after this shooting, his star kind of faded into oblivion. So you may or may not know, Diddy and Shine were linked to a New York City nightclub shooting where two individuals were reportedly shot, a man and a woman. The woman was shot in her face. She has maintained throughout these years that Diddy was the one that shot her, but unfortunately Shine took the rap for both and reportedly spent almost a decade in prison behind the situation. He reports that Diddy abandoned him after that, and Diddy and J-Lo quietly split up after Diddy's acquittal and Shine's ultimate sentencing. Okay. Jumping right along, and this is more relevant to the case. I just added this to the timeline. So Capricorn Clark, who I mentioned previously, she worked for Diddy from 2004 to 2012. So she saw a lot. She saw the ending and the aftermath of the nightclub shooting and Diddy's relationship with J-Lo. She saw the beginning and I guess stayed for a short duration of the time for Diddy and Cassie's relationship. So this is not a romantic link to Diddy, although she did testify on the stand that she did have a crush on Diddy and sent him several flirtatious text messages describing a crush. One notable thing that it always sticks out to me when I think about Capricorn Clark was the dream that she had about being trapped in an elevator with R. Kelly and Diddy being the one to save her. Very, very weird, very nuanced, and we could spend a whole YouTube video trying to dissect that dream and what the hell that dream had. Because I have weird dreams myself, but that dream, I don't know. Okay, girl. Okay, girl. Um, she reported on the stand of being abused as she worked for Diddy. She was reportedly kidnapped at gunpoint after Diddy learned that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi. Forced, and during that time, Diddy, if this is all alleged, forced Capricorn Clark to drive to Kid Cudi's house and participate in a burglary slash car bombing, which ultimately ended in Kid Cudi's Porsche being set on fire and the police being notified. She reportedly helped Cassie through the early stages of her and Diddy's relationship, with the abuse, often being a sort of confidant, as a friend for Cassie during this time. And I'm saying this in air quotes because I don't know, and this is just me personally, I don't know if I'm gonna trust a girl that is lusting after my dude to help me while my dude is beating me and doing all this and that. Even though she did notify Cassie that Diddy was coming to Kid Cudi's house and that he knew about her and Kid Cudi, it's not a girl's thing to do. Like, I got a crush on your man, I see your man beating you, I'm gonna help you. Like, girl, bye. Anyway, and that's just, my opinion. One thing that stuck out to me on the stand that Capricorn Clark had reported to, it was either Capricorn Clark or Mia. I hope I'm not getting my notes mixed up, but I think this was Capricorn Clark. She had reported that during an incident, Diddy had her and another individual stand and watch as he yelled at Cassie out from another room to come into the room that he, Capricorn Clark, and the other individual were in, and ordered Cassie to get him the remote or get him something, and then looked over to Capricorn Clark and the other individual. I'm assuming that it was a woman, saying, yeah, you bitches, or excuse me, you B words. Yeah, this is why y'all don't have a man. Y'all not, trying to cater to your man. And she's like, yeah, yeah, G damn right, I'm trying to censor myself. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, YouTube. Sometimes I just curse. It just be coming out. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. But anyway, I thought that was weird. It's like you still, you kind of lusted after this man because of his star power, his Diddy. You called him chocolate and all that stuff. And then you see that he's an abusive man and he's this and that. He's even being abusive to you. Reportedly fired her for not liking, bacon, the bacon that he had served from her, pushing her and all this stuff, or having people berate her. And it's like, did you still have a crush on this man after you learned who he was? I mean, why did you stick around? Why did you allow this? If you were such, Cassie's friend and you wanted to look out for Cassie, you didn't want her to be alone. Like, it's just very convoluted. And she also testified that Diddy threatened to unalive her. Deep. Very, very deep. I'm just going to say this as a side note. My boss threatened to unalive me. It's like on the real, like, God is my witness. Like, swabble up. Hey, swabble up. Like, let's see to the death, right? Okay, disregard. Moving right along to Cassie, the star witness in this trial of the century, Diddy Trial 2025. Okay. So, Cassie began dating Diddy in 2007 after being introduced to him, I believe, through her, at the time, boyfriend, Ryan Leslie, who is a music producer and reportedly was messing with Cassie when she was 17 and he was in his late 20s. Yeah. She was a fairy. Yeah. Okay. Not funny, but just you go through these things and you like, it's just so sticky and slimy and sleazy, in my opinion. We're moving right along. Diddy was 37 when he got with Cassie, and Cassie, like I said, she was 19, fresh out of another, what do they call those relationships? May, December, or May, June, when one party is older than the other party, those type of relationships. And just that power dynamic is, I never understand. And we know from her testimony that her relationship with Diddy was anything but ideal, anything but loving, just sex, drugs, violence, a mess. Freak off. A mess. Okay. Moving right along to Mia, who testified to being Diddy's personal assistant from 2009 to 2017, and she was allegedly raped the first year she began working for Diddy in 2009. Allegedly, R word, I don't know. Please, YouTube, don't get me. This is my second video. A girl is still learning. She was allegedly essayed. There we go. Essayed by Diddy the same year she started working in 2009. She said she reported that she was constantly berated by Diddy. Her film credits were snatched from a dream project that she was working on because she did something that Diddy didn't like. Yeah. Working for somebody that essayed you for another, what she worked from 2009 to 2017 for another 8 years. Wild. We listen and we don't judge these people because they are victims and their stories are just traumatic. But then, you try to put yourself in that situation and you like, oof. Diddy, I don't think Diddy ever seen a episode of Snap. Like, you get that right one and you on a t-shirt, bro. Okay, I have 3 more. 3 more women. Sorry guys, I am wild today. 3 more women to talk about, and then I'll get into my opinion. Of course. Okay, the next woman that I wanted to speak on is Gina Hyun. I'm not sure what her nationality is, but she does appear to be of Asian descent. So I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. It could be like how Nguyen is pronounced, so it could be like Hyun or something like that. But she was reportedly Diddy's girlfriend from 2014 to 2019. She's actually been on a podcast, and this was a couple of years back, where she reported that Diddy allegedly beat her while she was pregnant for Diddy during that relationship. He cheated on Cassie with Gina. Gina is famously known for her Twitter beef with Young Miami that time, where they went back and forth, and Miami referred to her as an eater and told her that she would have Diddy make her an eater. So, convoluted, sticky, scary, crazy, whatever. Next on the list, Jane Doe, who is on the stand currently and has been on the stand since last week. She dated Diddy from 2020 to 2024, and she's been testifying about her participation and Diddy's direction and even coercion of her into hotel nights or freak offs. It was just under a different name. She was basically doing the same thing with Cassie. From her testimony, it doesn't seem to be as violent as Cassie's experience was. She hasn't really reported, to my knowledge, Jane Doe hasn't really reported on being beaten like how Cassie was beaten. But she has reported to Diddy manipulating her into the hotel nights, and how she would write these notes before she texted him, and sometimes she wouldn't even send them, but she would write these notes in her phone about how she felt like she was being used, how she felt like she was the only one. And this is before she knew about Cassie's experience, that she was the only one doing the hotel nights, and how it was making her feel sick, and how she testified to painful, as did Cassie, painful UTIs, painful infections, and just being sore either physically or mentally about these experiences with these S workers. And yeah, my next point that she had testified to, telling Diddy that she didn't want to participate in one particular hotel night, and Diddy responded to her to get on her job, basically alluding to that these freak offs were her job. This is what I pay your rent for, because he was reportedly paying her rent. This is what I pay your rent for. I bought you that beautiful home and all that furniture. So this is what you need to do for me. This is all implied. But he did write to her and tell her to get on her job after she expressed that she didn't want to have sex with random strangers. And I shouldn't even refer to these men as random strangers. They were I don't even know how to S workers. I didn't know how to clean it up for you. They were S workers, random S workers, random male escorts. There we go. That sounds prettier, I guess, for the situation. And another notable thing that she mentioned on the stand is that she had opened Pandora's box and felt like she couldn't close it, meaning that the first time that she had agreed to these freak offs, she just thought it was taboo and nuance, and she was just pleasing her partner. But after frequent participation in these hotel nights, she felt like she had opened up something that she could not close, meaning that she had no say in the matter after a while. After a while, it just became what they did. She also reported being jealous of Young Miami. She didn't mention Young Miami on the stand, but a lot of our internet sleuths that we love, we love them for their analysis, have kind of pieced together who she was talking about, given the time frame and bits and pieces of her testimony. We can assume that she's speaking about Young Miami because he was dealing with Young Miami at that time. Like I mentioned, she felt like she was the only one doing the freak offs, doing the hotel nights, until she found out about Cassie's lawsuit and what she was accusing Diddy of, and it kind of sent her spiraling. And she reached out to Diddy, and Diddy was worried that she was trying to set him up. And once he was convinced that she wasn't trying to set him up, he kind of invited her into his inner circle. And I say that because she helped him draft the apology that, the famous Instagram apology that he posted to Cassie after the video of him savagely, I'm going to say it, savagely beating Cassie in a hotel lobby surface. So it was Jane Doe who actually proofread and actually, gave some suggestions, according to her testimony, among other people's suggestions on what he should say in his apology. And just, girl, why? Briefly, where are all the girls? All these girls be talking like, oh, girl code, MTV, VH1, bring back girl code. I think we need a lesson. These women don't understand what it means to be girls, like just very male oriented and very male dominated, and that's just my opinion. I'm not accusing her of anything, but just in that instance, like, you see the beating, you see the kind of setup, like they're in a hotel room, Diddy's kind of like partially clothed. You could kind of piece together, and then we're getting, she was hearing about what Cassie I went through. So from the video that this is a possible freak off a hotel night. So how Cassie is feeling in that instance, and you offer to write an apology. Maybe she was trying to do some type of therapeutic healing through that, like, well, let me get him to apologize, maybe that'll help him turn the page and we can forget about this. I don't know. It seems like Jane Doe was really in love with Diddy, or in infatuation, something, just helping him draft the apology, in my opinion, distasteful. But I don't know what she was thinking. And she also testified about being reportedly being extorted by a former male escort that she had worked with, her and Diddy had worked with, because he had actually had a tape of their experience together, and was trying to extort her out of about $10,000. She told Diddy She reached back out to the male escort and told him that this wasn't right and she wasn't going to pay him. And she never really heard anything back from that situation. She had, during that time, she was reportedly contacted by a media conglomerate or media outlet saying that they also had a copy of the tape, which she said that she fainted. And girl, I would faint too. I don't know. I wouldn't want my private time with my man or whatever little nuanced things that they was doing out on primetime news. Yeah, so I could relate to faking too. I would have fell out too. Like, girl, I feel you on that. Okay, and then last but not least, and I think I might do a separate video about this because this is prolific in my opinion. Young Miami. Ooh, Young Miami was 28 when she started dating Diddy, who was 57 at the time. They began their relationship in 2021 and it quietly ended in 2023. Question mark, we don't know. Question mark, we don't know. And I think that's the same thing kind of goes for Gina too, because Gina was supposed to testify. I think she was supposed to be like victim 2 or victim 4 or something like that, and she didn't. So we could put a question mark on if she and Diddy are actually still together or not. Like, I don't know. But back to Young Miami. I said Young Miami and Diddy's relationship was prolific in my opinion because it kind of gave us more of like a peer into Diddy's personal life, particularly his relations, and you know what I mean by relations, you know. So their relationship was really marked by social media posts, grandizing on social media. I believe that Young Miami even boasted one time that Diddy had her on an allowance of $250,000. And now we can see why he probably put her on that allowance, and we can only just imagine and speculate, even from her own words. And she was reported on numerous outlets, podcasts, saying things about their private relationship. We can assume that she was into some sticky stuff too. One of my Young Miami's most notable quotes, in my opinion, was that she was on a podcast and she said, quote, "I'm a whore, like a real whore." That's what Young Miami said. She also, in her own podcast, Carisha Please, she also admitted to Trina, which I believe is her godmother, which is weird. But Trina, she admitted to Trina that she liked to get peed on. It was just something about it. She was so riveted about it. She's like, oh, it's just something about it. Like, you know, not that just sent the internet, sent everybody in a tizzy. Just, I remember thinking like, ugh. But those were two notable things. And then her and Diddy often got on her podcast or other podcasts and bragged about being up all night and what that entailed and his stamina and yeah. Okay, and that was my brief timeline into his notable relationships. We can see why Jane Doe was jealous of Young Miami. He was more out front with his relationship with Young Miami, but I think that was a ploy. Because if you go through all of these relationships, you can see how Diddy's confidence was increasing as he got with these women. He started out with Misa. Misa was reportedly that girl in her neighborhood. She was the it girl. She was the pretty girl. You know, she had on the latest gear. She was also styling all the other neighborhood girls until she was, you know, pushed into the forefront when she started styling for various celebrities, including singers and, you know, icons and all that stuff like that. So Diddy attached himself to her in the early 90s, and you know, they look good. They look like an it couple. Moving on to Kim Porter, like I said when I did my brief introduction about their relationship, Kim Porter was a really acclaimed model. She was very exotic looking, very beautiful woman. I think she's mixed with black and Asian. Very, very beautiful woman, statuesque. So when you see Diddy with her at an event, you're like, wow, like look at him, like look at this woman on his arm. It's all about appearances. And we learned that through testimony from the Diddy trial. Diddy is really big on appearances, coordinated appearances. We've seen it with Cassie. He was very involved in what she was wearing, how she was looking, from her hair down to the nail color for her fingernails, for her toes, what she wore, how they looked that red carpet. You can see that in there in him and Cassie's like Met Gala looks, or their award show appearances. Just appearances were very big to Diddy. So from Misa to Kim, just jumping back to that, that's a big status jump. We can see him as, you know, starting out up and coming, you know, just getting this label off the ground. And then we fast forward to Kim, like, yeah, the label is still new, but he's becoming more of an icon. She was with him through that transformation of Diddy becoming an icon from the 90s to the mid 2000s. And then Diddy cheats on Kim Porter with J-Lo, another icon, another, like, you know, sex symbol of the late 90s, early 2000s. And this is also points for Diddy. People are looking like, how did this guy bag her? And oh my God, in that Grammy dress. Remember that Grammy dress with the plunging? And if you look at Diddy, I put it in the intro because I remember that picture. I remember actually watching that Grammy, and I remember thinking like, wow, she's so beautiful. And then you look at Diddy, and he's just, you know, just like in a plain, I think it was like a cream or like grayish tint suit. And you look at her, and then you look at him like, wow, like this guy must be really important because this woman is beautiful and she's on his arm. So again, appearances. It's really not, in my opinion, I don't believe that Diddy really cares about the real work that goes into, you know, cultivating a relationship, getting to know your partner, catering to their needs and stuff like that. It's more about what this person can do for his image and his star power. That's what I see. That is what I see. So after J-Lo, Diddy, you know, he kind of had to be quiet for a little while. He kind of had to rebuild that image that he wanted in the media, because it was kind of turning left with that shooting. And especially since the woman that was shot, since the shooting, she has not let up. That Diddy has been the one that shot her. Yeah, her outcries have kind of been silenced or ignored, but she has not led up to the idea or the fact. To her, you know, we don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there, I should say. To her fact that Diddy was the one that shot her, because she was the one that looked him in the face when he shot her. So Diddy, after his high profile relationship with J-Lo, and you know, still during that interim period with him and Kim, he has to rebrand himself. So naturally he goes back to Kim. Kim, this beautiful model, she was a debutante, so that comes with like a certain air of class and wealth and status. So he puts her back on his arm. And yeah, she's all for it. She's all for it. They're having children. She thinks she's gonna be the wife, and it never happens. Unfortunately, it never happens. They break up in 2007, and Kim ultimately dies. When did she pass? I don't think I wrote that down. Give me 1 second. Let me just look that up, if my computer will let me. Next time I know that I'll be more meticulous in my notes. But okay, so Kim Porter died November 15, 2018, and that would have been about 11 years after their breakup, I believe. Let me just go back. Yes, 11 years after their breakup in a mysterious um the autopsy report that ultimately has been accepted is a death by complications from pneumonia. But from the research that I've been doing and just, ear to the streets, it may have possibly been an unaliving. And we have to look to Diddy because it is noted that Kim was writing a tell-all book. Bits of that book have reportedly been leaked. The validity of what has been said is in question, and the validity of whether Kim actually wrote it is also in question. But yeah, certain things have been leaked, and people are looking at Diddy like, what did you do? We know that there were reports that he beat Kim and he stalked Kim and was, surveilling her before she died, and that she had found out. So we don't know. That's another story for another day. Hopefully, we don't hear anything remotely tied to a possible conspiracy plot to unalive Kim, because she is the mother of 3 of his children, including a 4th child that he adopted. That's not even his, Quincy. So if Diddy planned that out, man, those children, I feel for the children. Like, I couldn't imagine that your dad being involved in something like that, involving your mother. That's crazy. So I'm not even going to speculate on that. If it comes out, I will talk about it, just because I do have an opinion on it. But right now, for this video, steer clear of that. And then, let's see. What was I talking about? Status. So Diddy goes back to Kim after the whole shooting and breakup with him and J-Lo. Him and Kim are together for a short period of time before his eyes are set on Cassie, this, up-and-coming singer, beautiful, kind of racially ambiguous. I believe she is Filipino and something else. I have to, research that, but I believe that she's mixed. Cassie is, and she's racially ambiguous. Very beautiful woman. Another status symbol at this time. Diddy is 37, probably hitting that mark where he's like, I'm feeling old. I'm not the same Diddy. I need something new, something exciting. Here comes this young girl, bright-eyed, bushy tail, not knowing as much, and just ready and willing. Can we say that? Can we say that without being derogatory, that at that time, Cassie was ready and willing to do anything to become a star? I'm sorry. So, fresh from Kim cheating on Kim, we go to a young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Cassie. After after Cassie, we get Gina. There's not really a lot known about Gina besides her beef with Young Miami. She's been relatively quiet, besides her beef with Young Miami, and then the YouTube videos that I have seen of her talking about Diddy beating her. It's relatively quiet. I believe she used to work in IT, and she could have been linked to the plot to surveillance Kim in her home. Possibly, do not quote me on that, but there were rumors that Gina may have been linked to that, and she kind of, faded into the background after Kim Porter had died. She could be related to that. Speculation, alleged. I don't know, but they were together for 5 years, and she kind of kept her mouth quiet. We don't know if she participated in hotel nights. We don't know the ins and outs besides what she has said online of her and Diddy's relationship, and she's not testifying to our knowledge right now. She was willing to stay with Diddy as he had a relationship with Cassie, as well as a relationship with Young Miami. It looked like she kind of was just playing a part. She didn't mind. She didn't mind being taken care of and being just one of Diddy's girlfriends. And then Jane Doe. I believe Jane Doe also didn't mind because she met Diddy through a friend who was actually dating Diddy, and then shortly after her friend got engaged and married, she moved on to date Diddy. So it's very questionable. Like I said, nobody's a girl's girl in this matter. Nobody's a girl's girl. It was wild to me that Jane Doe had testified to the birthday party, her friend's birthday party, where she flirted with Diddy and got his phone number. It's like, at the party, like, I'm telling you, some people, it's like, you just, I invite you to my birthday party and, you know, you meet my man and he's a megastar and all this and that stuff, and you so enamored that you get his phone number at my birthday party. Jane Doe, you was, girl, cruising for a bruising. How you do that? And then when her friend felt like she was flirting with Diddy, you gaslight the girl into thinking, oh no, you're overreacting, it's not like that, when it really is like that. Y'all come back and you planning to go on a date with him and you're like, well, I don't know. But as soon as your friend gets married, oh, you with it. Like, girl, scandalous. Scandalous. But it doesn't, you know, it doesn't warrant her being mistreated, being used for her body, being manipulated. It doesn't warrant that. But it ties into what I had spoke about earlier. The greed, lust, and envy, how this takes over. So we see greed kind of throughout this whole timeline, really. What can I gain? If it's not the women in Diddy's life, it's Diddy. What can I gain from these women? How they look on my arm helps elevate my status. And for these women, proximity to Diddy helps improve my quality of life. Whether that means I'm going to be given money, whether that means I'm going to be given gifts, he's just going to take care of me because I'm his girl. And I just have to do these things that I necessarily don't want to do in order to get taken care of. And if I want this to continue, then I have to do what he tells me to do. And I believe that ties into greed, just wanting to have more than what you already have and willing to do anything to get it. And that goes for Diddy and the woman. Diddy, we see his greed in the freak offs and the hotel nights, and that's tied in with the lust. It's like you can never get enough. Like there's never enough of these tapes. There's never enough baby oil. There's never enough drugs. There's never enough sex workers. S workers, I should say. Let's do a all-star marathon, like of just hotel night freak off, and it's just like so with Diddy, we see greed and lust tied together into the freak offs, into being with these women, and him just wanting to be seen as the machismo, you know, look at me, I'm jet-setting billionaire, and I have all these beautiful women, you know, at my beck and call. Envy, the last part, and I'm gonna keep ping-ponging, but envy. Everybody wanted to be, and you can see that in the thumbnail for this video. I'm very proud of that thumbnail. Thank you. Shout out to ChatGPT for holding the girl down with that thumbnail. That came out beautifully. We have all the ladies that I mentioned in this video in that thumbnail. And it's just like everybody wanted to be his main squeeze. That's what I said. Everybody wanted to be his main squeeze, but was it really worth it? In every testimony that we see, no, it was never worth it. You're either getting beat, you're getting ran through, you're getting berated, things are getting snatched from you, things are being held over your head, all that stuff. So we just see that it's not. And then from Jane Doe's testimony, ping-ponging off of Mia's testimony, Capricorn Clark's testimony, and Cassie's testimony, everybody was looking at the situation just through their own window, through their own point of view. Jane Doe really brought it home for me when she said, I felt like I was the only one doing the hotel nights. And then you become envious of Young Miami because you're looking at it like she doesn't have to do hotel nights, and look at him spending all this money on her. Look at him, like, you know, he's telling me that I can only get an allowance of $10,000 when I want $15,000, and I'm hearing reports on social media that Young Miami is getting $250,000 as an allowance. Like, it's not fair. You start to envy these people, but you're not even thinking that they're all involved in this. Like, Diddy is a leopard that doesn't change his spots. If Cassie was doing these let me rephrase that. What was it called before it was called freak offs? Because we see an evolution from freak offs to hotel nights to movie nights. What was it called before freak offs? And were Misa or Kim or any other person, you know, it may be other women that were not as high profile, not as public. What were they doing with Diddy before these freak offs? Because this just doesn't seem like a runoff fantasy. This seems like something that he's been working on. It's something that he's had access to. Jane Doe reported to him, asking her about fantasies and if she wanted to make them a reality, and she's like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, the things you just tell your man, you're like, yeah, whatever. And then next thing she know, he's on the phone. He's making it happen. So for me, I feel like Diddy's been doing this, and I just want to know what it was called before it was called freak offs, and who else was involved. Kim is no longer here. We don't know if the book that she was writing will ever come out in its true form in her words. So I would love to know if Kim was a part of hotel nights, freak offs, movie nights. If Misa, in that short time, because she was only with him for 3 years, in that short time, was she exposed to his fantasy? If she was propositioned to be a part of the fantasy, who knows? Like I said, a leopard doesn't change his spots. Greed, lust, envy, tied inextricably throughout the relationships, the high profile relationships that I mentioned, that Diddy has had. Just whether it's the women wanting more access to him, wanting more money, wanting whatever. The lust of, you know, him and his sexual desires, and one woman is not enough. I need to have multiple women participate in this. There's multiple videos of different people, different male escorts. Just and then envy, other women looking at his public relationships, thinking, why is that not me, and what am I not doing for that to be me, or am I just regulated to this? Like, Jane Doe felt like she was just regulated to the hotel movie nights until he invited her in after, you know, he was exposed by Cassie's lawsuit and the video that followed after that. Then he invited her in, and then she felt like, you know, oh, maybe I'm special. Maybe I am the girlfriend. But I don't think anybody was ever Diddy's girlfriend. They were just tools to further his agenda, to further his star power. Like I said, these women represent, if you look at it, these women represent different times in Diddy's catapult into like iconic status. Like they represent different times. Misa is like the beginning of Bad Boy. Kim is like the success of Bad Boy, the branching out, the, you know, now it's Ciroc, it's Bad Boy, this is Sean John clothing, is, you know, on magazine covers, is this and that. J-Lo, it's awards, it's acclaim, I'm a mogul. By the time we hit the era of Diddy and J-Lo, Diddy is at the status of a hip-hop mogul. After that, into Cassie, Gina, Jane Doe, and Young Miami, Diddy is a jet-setting, aging playboy mogul, hip-hop mogul. So he's acting different. He's, in my opinion, it's kind of like a midlife crisis. You surrounding yourself with all these women, all these young people, and you're doing all this drugs. How did Diddy even function doing these hours and days fueled with just drugs and freak off nights? How did this man really function? But that's a side note. That's a different thing. Alrighty. So, to conclude, you know, I'm always thinking. I do my best thinking in the shower, honestly. I don't know. Something about the water is, I don't know, it's therapeutic for me. But to conclude this video, I just want to leave you guys with something to think about. So imagine being a shot glass pouring into a barrel. Just stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, we know this barrel has more than enough more than enough to fill your shot glass. I mean, this barrel is gonna make your shot glass overflow. But instead, this barrel forces you to constantly pour into it. This is the dynamic of the relationships with Diddy. Here's this powerful man, powerful enough to make or break you, but he's steady depleting you of your energy. You have to pour into him. Maybe he'll throw you a bone. Oh yeah, I can pay your rent. Oh, you want to do an album? I'll do that for you. Oh, you want to go to Turks and Caicos? Yeah, but these are drops in the bucket for this man. You're doing more for him than he's doing for you. And these women eventually, some of them eventually, came to that conclusion. I'm doing more for this man than what he's doing for me. He's actually depleting me. He's actually making me feel worse. So, like I said in my first video, this sin is never worth it. You always learn that this sin is never worth it. And every time that you go against your body, every time you go against your intuition, you are disappointed. Okay guys, so that's all that I had. This video is long just because we went through a lot and we talked about a lot of topics. Please let me know what you, if you liked it, let me know, give me some feedback. This shirt that I have on, I love this shirt. This is probably like one of my favorite shirts. This is from a brand, I don't know, you can't see it, there you go. The brand is called Forgiven Boutique. It's a faith-based clothing company. Love them. Been rocking with them for years. This is one of my favorite shirts. Their designs change all the time. Initially when I first started buying from that company, they were really good when it came to shipping. But like the last time that I bought from them, which was probably like 2 years ago, it took me forever to get my shirts. So hopefully they fixed that. They told me it's just because they print everything by hand, I'm assuming. Oh no, I'm thinking of the email. I think that's what they said. They print everything by hand, like, well, everything, you know, screen print, everything is done by hand, so it takes a little bit of time. So I hope they fix that, because they are a cool brand. They always have cool shirts. Me, I like mine's oversized. I'm an oversized t-shirt and jeans girly. So yeah, this brand is great. Stuff is very high quality. They do not sponsor this video. I'm just talking my mess. I'm in it because you're gonna see me in a lot of cool shirts. So I figured I might as well just talk about where I got them from. I'm not a hater. I'm a girl's girl. I'll let you know. Ask me, I'll let you know. I'll steer you in the right direction. I'm just playing. So yeah, like I said, like the video, subscribe, comment, let me know what you would like to see next, and I will catch you in the next video. Deuce, deuce.